Hey everyone, it's the Monday edition of Weather for Weather Geeks. As usual on Monday, we have Mike Joyce in the house. What a beautiful day out there today.
It is. Compared to Saturday, man, it was rough out there.
It really was. Unfortunately for the air show on Saturday, the weather, as we kind of expected, didn't really cooperate all that much. And a lot of pictures of small hail, a little pea-sized, soft hail, we call it. This isn't the kind of thing that's going to crack your windshield, but we had quite a bit of that on Saturday. Yesterday was kind of a transitional day, back to better things. Mm-hmm. And today, wow, yeah, it's great outside. It's 2:15 as we record this, and we got a 67 in Youngstown, 67 Newcastle, over at Ravenna. It's 65 degrees. Just beautiful outside today. It's still a little below average. We should be at 69, 70 degrees. Mm-hmm. So we're a little below average today, but I'm not complaining. It's beautiful out there. Big picture. Let's throw up the surface pressure. That's not what that is. Surface pressure is what we want. And we got high pressure almost right overhead today. Look outside, look up in the sky, you'll see an H. Well, not really, but here's our center of high pressure almost right over us, eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania today. And it's great outside today, and we've got decent weather coming up tomorrow, but we got to keep an eye on what's going on out to our west. Look at the heat that's building out here across the middle of the country. We've got 90s, western Texas, western Oklahoma, western Kansas. Then you get up into kind of a rainy zone up here across Minneapolis and heading into Wisconsin. And this is the system that eventually could cause a few issues for us as we head towards midweek. So let's talk about that. I'm going to take off the current information while I do that. Mike, how was the weekend otherwise? Everything good?
It went pretty well. Of course, we had the Preakness on Saturday, so we didn't have a 6 o'clock, and that was a big thing with California Chrome. And otherwise, weather-wise, you know, the air show was a little rough, but yesterday it went along just fine. Had some puffy cumulus clouds, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the weather cooperates now for what's the third one? The Belmont Stakes.
Yes. In a few weeks. So June 7th, I believe it is.
Yeah, so we've got plenty of time to figure that one out, but hopefully the weather cooperates for that. I'm attempting to bring up the reflectivity, the radar part. There it is. For some reason I couldn't see it. All right, so we're going to bring up the NAM model here for tomorrow, taking a look at Tuesday. And here's our warm front coming in tomorrow. This is the leading edge of warmer, more humid air. It's definitely going to be, feeling a little soupier by tomorrow afternoon. So we've stopped things at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Showers, most of them out to our west here, I think mid-morning. And then we'll head into the afternoon, or at least the midday hour. Here's 11 a.m. and noon. Zoom in a little bit. So if the NAM ends up having the right idea here, our most likely chance for showers would be not first thing in the morning, but heading into the midday and the afternoon. Here's 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m. So tomorrow's not a washout, but we're going to have to watch out for a couple of showers around, and definitely a change in the air mass heading into the day tomorrow. It's definitely going to start to feel a little more humid out there. It's going to be a pretty warm day as well. Bring up the temperatures quickly here, and a lot of warm colors here. Look over here on the left, our scale, once we get into some of these deeper yellows into the oranges, we're well into the 70s. And what do we have for a high tomorrow, our forecast?
I think mid-70s is what we're thinking.
76, 77, something like that. So, it's going to be a warm day tomorrow. The dew points, the humidity coming up. Now, we're going to focus a little bit on Wednesday now because we do have a slight risk of severe weather issued by the Storm Prediction Center out for areas primarily from Youngstown south and west. With this on Wednesday, the setup will be a low-pressure system through the lakes, cold front coming in, tapping into the warm, humid, and unstable air. And the question is, what is going to happen? So I'm going to go to the NAM model here and show you the CAPE for Wednesday. And CAPE is not an article of clothing in meteorological terms. We're talking about instability, convective available potential energy. It's something that we look at as meteorologists to determine just how capable air parcels will be of rising through the atmosphere and causing clouds and precipitation. The scale over here on the left, and generally speaking, as a rule of thumb, once we get up above 1,000, that's when our ears start to perk up a little bit and our antennas go up, and we start thinking that there could be some decent storms if there's a trigger to make those storms happen. Anyway, mid-afternoon here on Wednesday, the NAM model has our CAPE values definitely above 1,000, especially from Youngstown south and west. Notice east of us, Mike, we're in the blue colors here. So the instability a little lower in Oil City and Franklin and Du Bois and perhaps even into Mercer as well. So that's one sign that the better instability, the better moisture is going to be from Youngstown south and west toward Mansfield, Columbus, Cincy. End of the afternoon here, still probably around maybe 13 to 1500 joules of CAPE from Youngstown south and west. So that's the instability. What about wind shear? And when we talk about wind shear, we're talking about the change in wind direction, the change in wind speed as we go up through the atmosphere. And we were talking before we hit record on this that there's not a lot of directional wind shear on Wednesday. Generally, both at the surface and upstairs, in west southwest, generally speaking, the wind flow, something like that. So since there's not a change in direction as you go up in height through the atmosphere, that's one thing going against big supercells that might start rotating. So just to look at the what we call storm relative helicity, back things up to mid-afternoon here. It's not through the roof at all. There's some, but it's definitely not through the roof. So I think our threats, I'll ask you, Mike, you've looked at this maybe a little bit more carefully than I have. If we could list the threats on Wednesday, what's at the top of the list? Probably not wind. Or at least probably not tornadoes.
Probably not tornadoes.
Yeah.
Tornadoes would probably be the lowest threat. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe somewhere within 200 miles or so might have a tornado warning or not. But yeah, I think, we have a couple isolated damaging wind threats, maybe we could have some hail up to maybe a quarter of an inch because we will be unstable. So that is a possibility. But I don't think at this point it's going to be the scale of event we had on Wednesday last week, but we'll have to keep looking at those models and see how things develop.
For the sake of our voices, I hope we don't have to do a stream for 3 hours like we did on Wednesday. One thing we also have to keep in mind, the ground is still pretty wet, and if we do get some thunderstorms that start what we call training, perhaps going over the same areas over and over, we're going to be concerned about flash flooding, but a couple days away from this, so a little too early to say whether that's a real big possibility or not. All right, so Wednesday is a potentially active day with our cold front. I'm going to skip ahead to Thursday then. Thursday, we're behind the front, low pressure over here, our cold front's out in here, and Thursday should be a better day. We're probably going to notice a nice decrease in the humidity on Thursday after a muggy couple of days. And then at the end of the week on Friday, this does not look like a real warm day, generally kind of a trough of low pressure in the upper levels here in the east, but it also looks like a decent day. We've got upper 60s to around 70 in our forecast. On Friday, with that cooler air aloft, I guess I wouldn't be shocked if there was a sprinkle somewhere on Friday. The best chance of that's probably in the higher terrain to our east over in this zone here. But still, I guess I couldn't totally 100% rule out a 5-minute sprinkle or a shower somewhere on Friday with that chilly air aloft. We just had a lot of chilly air aloft over the weekend, which is why we had all those showers with small hail. And, of course, we have Memorial Day weekend coming up, so we're going to spend just a second here talking about that, the longer range. And at this point, at least the front end of it looks pretty good.
It does.
The weekend, here's Saturday, and our high-pressure zone on Saturday is just off to our west, and so that should be just a beautiful day. Not hot, probably no warmer than the lower 70s, but sunshine looks great Saturday. And then here's Sunday. Our high is probably right overhead. So Saturday and Sunday at this point looking really good. The question is Memorial Day itself. A lot of people have the day off. This is a week from today. And so the forecast is likely to change a few times, both in terms of temperature and rain chances. But at this point, the GFS does have a little disturbance coming through here with maybe a chance for a shower or a thunderstorm. We'll spend a lot of time later this week dissecting that. But at this point, I would say Saturday and Sunday are probably looking pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's weather for Weather Geeks on this Monday. Thanks for tuning in. You can check out my forecast on the TV side tonight at 6 and 11. And Mike will be back with you Friday right through the weekend.
Yes.
Hopefully enjoying, before he comes to work, all that beautiful weather that we expect.
Oh, I'm sure I'll get in, maybe grill a few burgers.
Excellent. Sounds great. All right. We'll see you later, guys. Thanks.